Yeah, let's be real. That move she pulled it wasn't strategy. It wasn't leadership. It was bullying, plain and simple. Looking back now, it's obvious why so many people called it out. Because no matter how you spin it, that was intimidation. She might not have sat down with a detailed plan or drawn up a blueprint, but the second she executed that stunt, intentions no longer mattered. The outcome was loud and clear, cheap, tacky power flex with zero class backing it up. What's good, y'all? Welcome back to the channel. Do me a quick favor before we dive too deep. Smash that like button, hit subscribe, and share this video with somebody who needs both a laugh and a little dose of accountability. Because today, we're putting the spotlight exactly where it belongs on her Tiffany, Miss Supermayor.
How?
But only in her own reflection. A legend in her mind, a joke everywhere else. Now let's talk about these so-called events she's been throwing. Tiffany moves like she's running Coachella every weekend, but the receipts, they don't lie. Reality check. Nobody's showing up. Even when she's somehow locked in real celebrities for her Taste of Thornton Festival, you know how many people came through? 7. That's right. 7. And not 7 random community folks either. These were carefully selected, hand-picked faces she probably begged to fill seats. That was the grand audience she hyped. So when Tiffany marketed it like it was going to be the biggest, most historic event in township history, the only thing it screamed was delusion. Imagine somebody who just ate 3 full plates, grabbed dessert first, and still goes back to the buffet like they're starving. That's Tiffany in a nutshell. Forever hungry for validation, attention, and a spotlight that never quite fits. In her head, she's building a legacy. In reality, she's a meme walking on 2 legs. And here's where things take a turn. Because while she's busy trying to brand herself as Supermayor, Darren Bosley Hayes out here doing real work. Every year, Bosley runs a legit car show. Crowds love it. Families pull up. The energy's real. And you know why? Because Tiffany's never had her fingerprints on it. But instead of celebrating another black man doing something positive for the community, what does she do? She tries to muscle in, hijacks his shine, works overtime to block his momentum and reroute the crowd. Like, forget Bosley's show come vibe with me instead. That's her whole playbook. Never build, just piggyback. But this time, it escalated. This is where petty turned into outrageous. Out of nowhere, the South Suburban Car Show gets shut down. Why? Because someone dropped giant concrete barricades at the park entrance. Yeah, actual blocks of concrete. Dumped like it was a construction zone instead of a family event. Now the park district is pointing fingers directly at Tiffany, calling it what it is, sabotage. And they're even talking lawsuits. And honestly, they should. Because that's not leadership. That's reckless, dangerous behavior. For 8 straight years, Bosley's been hosting that show at Needles Park without so much as a hiccup. Every single year smooth sailing. This time, he did everything right. Paid his $1,000 permit. Reserved his space. Paperwork solid. Then, out of nowhere, he gets a call from Tiffany's top aide. And let's not kid ourselves. We know who's really pulling the strings. That's Camel's energy all day long. Maybe he didn't physically dump those barricades, but if anyone was whispering, merge your event with hers, make it look like Tiffany drew the crowd. Yeah, that was him. Any real leader would have hit Bosley up directly and said, man, your car show is incredible. Let's collaborate. Let's make it even bigger. But Tiffany, she doesn't move like that. Car shows create culture, community, atmosphere. Tiffany's events, forced, awkward, dead on arrival. That's why she's out here bribing people with flat-screen TVs just to fill chairs. And honestly, if it were me, I'd probably pull up 2 for the free TV and the comedy act she calls leadership. So of course she tried to bully him into moving his event to Greenwood Park, promising everything would be just fine. Let's translate that real quick. What she was really saying was, do this or else. That wasn't an invite. That was a threat. She wanted to force him into merging with her show so she could stand in front of cameras later, smiling like all the credit belonged to her. Did she map it out as harassment on paper? Maybe not. But if you break down the tactics, that's exactly what it was. Tiffany's out here moving like she's the boss of some political mafia untouchable, calling shots from a throne that doesn't even exist anymore. And after everything blew up, where is she now? Probably laying low, hiding out, piecing together her next excuse. Which raises better questions. Where is Tiffany? What is Tiffany? Why is Tiffany? Because, let's be honest, she's not a mayor anymore. She's not a leader. She's not even a halfway decent event planner. She's a headline, a storyline, a cautionary tale wrapped in reckless decisions and bad press. So Saturday morning hits, and Bosley rolls up to Needles Park, ready to set up like always. But instead of open space, he's staring at concrete slabs blocking every entrance. Not cones. Not caution tape. Concrete. Like he showed up to a war zone instead of a community car show. And to make it worse, Dolton police were already on standby, ready to tow cars that even thought about parking nearby. At that point, it wasn't a car show anymore. It was a hostage situation dressed up as a power move. And let's not sugarcoat it. This wasn't about cars. It was about control. Cars. It was about control. The Park District, which runs separately from the village, suddenly found itself dragged into a turf war. And why? Because Tiffany couldn't handle being outshined. We all know she gave that order. Close your eyes and imagine it. Tiffany, at 2 a.m., reflective vest on, pacing around like a foreman building the Pentagon. Put one right there, she's saying, so they know I'm not playing. That's Tiffany energy all day long. But Park District President Cleo Jones wasn't having it. He didn't flinch. He didn't sugarcoat. He came out swinging loud and clear, saying Henyard had zero jurisdiction over Park District property. That land isn't hers to touch. Then he dropped the hammer, called it sabotage. Straight up. Why? Because her house music event was happening right down the block at the exact same time. She didn't want eyes on Bosley's car show. She needed a distraction. She needed control of the narrative. And here's the painful truth. It didn't even have to play out like this. Tiffany could have chilled, picked another weekend, picked another park, or even teamed up with Bosley to make something legendary. But that's not in her DNA. Collaboration isn't her playbook. Her default setting? Dominate or destroy. If she can't outshine you, she'll sabotage you. That's been her method since day one. And every time she gets called out, she hides behind the same recycled excuse. They just mad because I'm black, young, and a woman. Girl, stop. This isn't about identity politics. It's about accountability. The truth is, Bosley wasn't even trying to compete with her. He was building something that people wanted, a family-friendly show he's hosted for nearly a decade. Paid his fees, locked his permits, did everything by the book. And instead of letting him shine for the community, she blocked his path just to protect her ego. And don't think for a second that this date clash was random. Bosley filed his event months in advance. Tiffany knew it. She circled it anyway. No call. No coordination. Just a calculated ambush. And when the ambush failed, she doubled down, telling him, just move it to my location. Move it? Excuse me. What? Why on earth would he uproot his entire operation, vendors, sponsors, logistics, just to bail her out and help her save face after she tried to undercut him? Make it make sense. Because right now, the math ain't mathing. She's out here trying to play chess with checkers pieces. And truthfully, we're not even on the same board. Then came the barricades. That wasn't some petty flex. That was deliberate, calculated intimidation. Concrete blocks dumped at the entrance turned a family event into a crime scene. Let's call it what it was, a power play, not leadership. The community saw it, and they're done getting played. And this ain't even her first stunt. Remember that taxpayer-funded charity march to Springfield? Fox 32 blew that up for a reason. She sold it as service, but it was PR theater, staged applause parade paid for with public money. That's not serving people. That's manipulating them. Tiffany's whole routine has been smoke, mirrors, and self-promotion. If I could say one thing to her directly, it'd be this. Get it together. What she calls power is chaos reckless, toxic chaos. Folks out here are actually spending their own cash to lift the community. While she's swinging wrecking balls just to stay relevant? For what, likes? Headlines. A pretend crown. It's pathetic. Confront her face to face, and she hits play on the same tired line. I care about the people. Please, she couldn't even hold eye contact when she said it. That's not leadership. That's hollow theater. The performance ended the minute people started paying attention to receipts instead of rhetoric. And make no mistake, she had the bag. Nearly $400,000 a year in pay. Real money to make real change. Instead, she funneled it to friends and lovers. Sent Leotis over $100,000. Turned the mayor's office into a pay-to-play. Friends and family operation? She had power and she blew it. Choosing dictatorship over doing the work. Now she's fumbling everything. The village of Dolton sits quiet while the park district president speaks loud. Lawsuits are on the table and they should be. Tiffany's crossed so many lines, the map can't find them. Her standard move? Shrugged. It's the village being sued, not me. Then she cashes another check, like she's untouchable. Newsflash, she's not. The feds aren't blind. They've got receipts, timestamps, transfer records, patience, and evidence. When they move, it won't be soft. It'll be cold, calculated, and final. Meanwhile, Tiffany can keep posing for pictures, throwing parties, and posting motivational quotes. But that knock? It's coming. Anyway, I'm out. As always, Mama loves you. Stay sharp. Stay woke. Stay ready. Stay woke. Stay ready.